Hi guys, I'm Ian. Welcome back to my channel, and this is my series, My Take, where I offer a view, maybe a little bit different, or maybe one you haven't heard, about situations within the world. Now, today I'm going to talk about Posey Parker and our transgender riot at Albert Park. And let's be honest, people, it was a riot. It wasn't a protest, it was a riot. The minute you smash down barricades and start rushing towards people and assaulting them, you are rioting. You're not peacefully waving around signs and flags. And just because you disagree with someone's narrative doesn't give you the right to go and act like a bunch of clowns. Now, did Posey Parker deserve to be assaulted? Absolutely not. She was speaking out about concerns that she had about transgendered individuals going into women's bathrooms. And that's a topic I will cover later in another episode. But, that it didn't excuse the behaviour of the trans individual tomato saucing her. It didn't excuse the guy that assaulted the granny and any other individuals, both men and women, who were unlucky to be assaulted at Albert Park. It also doesn't look very good for the media, like Chloe Swarbrick, when she was asked about it on one of the breakfast shows, I think on the Monday morning, and she was basically talking about how transgendered people are treated badly in the country, and almost downplaying the violence perpetrated towards Posey Parker and several of the people who went there to watch. And I think it was Brooke Van Velden, the ACT MP, she was saying that there was who was there with Chloe, was saying there was no excuse to, do this. And there isn't. Just because you have a different view to somebody does not give you the right to assault someone. And again, I'm not saying every transgendered person in the country is a violent thug either, but it also doesn't look very good for their community when they go and assault a bunch of women because they disagree with the view of a woman. I mean, women have been fighting for years to not have men treat them like crap, and then you essentially get transgenders, and some of them are, men who identify as women, who are still like 6 foot tall and outweigh these women by twice, going around assaulting them. It's not a very good look, But then we had like Kate Hanna, I think the misinformation guru or whatever. She's one of those people that was on about how all the hate that the trans community had been receiving since the Albert Park riot. Now, again, I don't agree with anyone sending death threats to, say, transsexuals, etc. But by the same token, come on, Kate. The reason a lot of people were mad at it was a bunch of women were assaulted in a riot, and there were some men who were assaulted too, for like sticking up for the women that were actually assaulted. And so you've got to understand that there's going to be a bit of a pushback against the community. However, let's also not forget like the impression it sends for anybody who might voice a concern about, say, transgenders in women's sport or transgenders in women's bathrooms. And again, not every transgender is going to go and attack a woman in a bathroom. In fact, most aren't. But, if a woman or girl voices their concern about it, instead of us saying, oh, no, you can't have that and it's racist, etc., or it's homophobic or transphobic or any other, the Islamophobic that seems popular to throw around nowadays, we should be also taking the woman's concern equally as seriously, because by just looking at it from a one-sided perspective, could that send a message that maybe, just maybe, if you speak out against trans people going in women's bathrooms and you get assaulted by someone, oh well, maybe you shouldn't have been saying anything. That's a message it could actually send to some women and girls who might want to speak out about it. It might make them too scared to speak out about it for fear of like, oh, well, I might get assaulted or I might get harassed or attacked. I could lose my job, etc. And yes, we do need to have a discussion about trans people going into like bathrooms, etc. But I also think we need to be respectful towards women and girls as well, because that was the whole reason we separated men and women in the first place, was so that women could feel like, well, they can go in a sporting event, or they can go into like, a bathroom or a gymnasium or wherever without a bunch of men just ogling at them or making inappropriate comments or gestures or whatever. But if we eliminate that solely because, of transgenderism, and yes, I know there are some people who have gender dysphoria, but when you can also self-identify, where you don't need to even necessarily get tested for gender dysphoria, that can also create another problem down the road. And I don't want to cover that in this video. I'd prefer to keep that for another one of my insightful episodes. But anyway, I just hope I've given everybody a bit of food for thought, and just remember, we need proper discussions about this, and we also need to realise that, if people want to speak out about it, that they should feel that they're safe to speak out about, not just women and girls, but any men and boys who might, want to stick up for women on it, should also feel that they're safe and that it's okay to actually say, no, we think this is wrong. Otherwise you end up staring down a path in society where only one thing becomes acceptable, and if you dare deviate, then you get looked upon, in rather suspicious circumstances, and we don't want that, where certain people feel like, they're denied the right to like feel safe in a bathroom or whatever, because you could end up with a nasty pushback. So I'm just saying, Chloe Swarbrick, maybe one day you'll see this video, maybe you won't. Like, next time you're asked about transgendered people attacking someone, even if they're your mate, at least have the decency to say you don't condone violence of any kind. And and you too, Kate Hannah, use a bit of common sense when you're the guru of misinformation. You've got to figure out that sometimes if people are saying something a bit spiteful, could it be related to a previous situation? I hope I've enlightened everybody. As usual, I welcome discussion in the comments, but please keep everything respectful. Thanks. Bye.